Right, welcome to episode 6 of Carp Pursuit. And for me, it's the final one, but look where it's brought me. An old stomping ground of mine. Look at this place, it's lovely here, isn't it? Sandhurst Lake in Yateley. The final episode, that's befitting really, isn't it? The problem I'm gonna have though, to be fair, Nick the owner has got quite a long list of rules. Now half of them rules that we're not allowed to do are on this spinning board. So bear with me, we'll give it a spin. We're in the lap of the gods. That's awkward. That is awkward.
Yes, that is one of the things we're not allowed to do here, zig fishing, and as good as it looks for it. But as it's your last episode,
okay,
I'm going to give you a little treat.
Oh, go on then.
Allow you.
Does it involve chocolate?
Well, there may be a prize of chocolate.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to allow you to use whatever bait and tackle you want that you have with you.
Okay.
But it's going to cost you a 35+ pound carp. And that's
right.
the challenge.
So, zig's not allowed. There it is. And I'm sure they'd work well today, wouldn't they? Look at it, it looks awesome, mate. Fair enough then, so I can use whatever I want from my vehicle, and it's got to be a 35+ if we get a bite. Yeah. Throughout the trip. I'll take
Only
that.
35 pluses.
Well, what if they add up to 35+?
No. If it's under 35, well, big trouble.
Okay, right, okay, I'll take that then. I can use my own bait, and you want me to try and do my best to catch a 35 pounder.
Yes, please.
I'll take that. Now, as I mentioned, this is one of my favourite lakes that I haven't fished for quite a while now. Done lots and lots and lots on here in the past. We've got a new wind, and I've chatted to, there's quite a few lads on, not been many out to be fair, but because we've got this new north-northeasterly, I'm going to set up in what they call the bailiff's peg. It's 3 little pegs all in a row, plenty of room for what we're going to be doing, and as I just said, a new wind. Now Steve, rather stupidly, has given me a free range with stuff from the van. So I'll go through when we get to the peg and get set up. But I'm going to be slinging in my bucket, as they say, which is then going to be slinging it in the lake. Because we have got quite a few guidelines, and Nick is kind enough to let us on, so we won't be pushing the guidelines at all. But I have got some interesting stuff from the van. So until then, I'll go and get set up. On my way round to the swim, I found a few fish bubbling away in a secluded bay. After clocking the fish and with the rain only worsening, I continued to the peg to get set up before hatching a plan to try and get one of the old Sandhurst carp under my belt. Right, I have set up in the swim, stuck a bit of bait out. It was pouring down with rain, so the house had to go up. But on the way round, I noticed in this little bay, just up here, quite a lot of fizzing. So I've put out a bucket of bait which can now rest on the lake bed as long as it wants to, and I'm going to go and give it half hour on the fizzers. Walk this way. With the rods carefully positioned in the bay, I sat back as the rain started to pour, in anticipation for what was to come. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. We've had an hour here. They are fizzing. I think not a lot here, but what's here, I think they're digging so far in that silt. They're sifting through the silt. The fizzing is really ferocious. So it's with that, as you can see, the rain is slowly getting heavier. I am slowly getting wetter, which means my hair will grow, and I don't really want that. And back to the main trim. I'm going to apply the rods out on where I put the bait an hour or so ago. And latte o'clock, I think. Latte o'clock. Once back in the swim, I wasted no time getting all 3 rods clipped up with 17 wraps and out in the pond. That's the right hand one. Right, that's all 3 now over the baited area. I've crunched them all together. It's a slightly deeper sort of trench out there. 17 wraps, which is about as far as you want to go in here because it isn't that wide a lake. But it's pouring down the rain. The rods are now in situ. No, unless I see anything else to move them to, there's no need to move anything now. They're all out there. But I'll tell you what we do need to do is side the bivvy up. Get the kettle. Take the water off it. Oh yes.
Well, as you can see, it's absolutely tipping down, and it has been all day. Don't really want to get the cameras out, so here's our evening update.
This is our evening update. It has been absolutely pouring down. I hate the word absolutely, actually. It's been torrential rain all day. Not a lot of, well, nothing's happened in my quarter. Put a bit of bait out, put 3 rods on it.
It's a nice angle like that.
It's at a great angle.
Yeah.
You got my best side.
Yeah, all the chins, yeah.
It's like a Chinese bloody phone book. But no, nothing's happened here. I hope it doesn't happen if I'm honest with you to the morning when the rain's due to stop. So on that note, everything's muddy, everything's wet, except, well, even the net is wet actually, but not for the right reason. So
needs to be slimy.
That's our evening, probably good night actually, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, there's not a lot we can do.
Good night from me,
with,
good night from him. Look at that, there's a massive, the lake is now under my rods, whereas earlier it wasn't.
Yeah, let's do a before and after. I mean, it was all dry though.
Well, first light brought this little bite. 26 pounds of very, very, very energetic Sandhurst mirror carp. I was waiting there, I paused, I was waiting for him to go. He's being really naughty, this one. Didn't do a lot yesterday to show you guys because it was heavy rain literally all day yesterday. We've got a tiny little break in it now. 3 AM, I had one come adrift, so I pulled them all in, changed the rigs around and put another couple of spawns of bait over the top of it. You know, sweet corn, a little bit of complex T&M, which I'll go through with you later because we had no chance yesterday to talk to you tactics, bait and rigs. But he's behaving at the moment. So there you go. I'm off the mark. It's not quite the 35 pounder that I've got a bit of a challenge with Steve with, but to start with 26 that looks like that, very, very pleased.
I forgot to tell you yesterday that for each fish you catch under the 35 pound target, it adds a pound onto your target. So now you've got to catch a 30.
Did you just make that up?
No, honest.
Not in my contract, Stephen. We'll see how that progresses. But for now, I'm going to put him down because he is going to have a little kick. So, in a while, we'll go through what's in the bucket, what I've put out there, how much of it, and the rigs. There you go. He's being real naughty. And the rigs that I've used. But yes, I'll talk you through why I changed everything around at 3 AM because I do not like losing fish. Here we go. Let's get him back. you know what? It's still raining. Beautiful, eh? Weeks ago we'd have prayed for a bit of rain. But what I also done this morning is I dared to put a pan full of sausages on, the ones that are caramelised in red onion. And you know what happens halfway? Well, Stephen has kindly just shut the pan off because this is...
Don't want to burn our sausages.
Don't want to burn our sausages. Oh my God, no.
But we don't mind a little interruption every now and then.
Like a little interruption of this kind, with fingers crossed, because we did have one come adrift, didn't we? It's got to come past quite a large bank of weed when you get to about 20 yards out. But I haven't long put out another couple of, I put out about 5 spoms of boilie and corn about 20 minutes ago. And it seems to, and then they started fizzing. So it just, a little bit of noise seems to fire them up. So I'll bear that in mind for later in the day. I'm going to take it real easy with this though, because we don't want a repeat of 3 AM when I was sulking like a child and then redone should I say, not redone, like a ray gun, redone all 3 rods with all new rigs and everything. There he is on the top now. So. He's one of the little ones. He'll do. Oh no, this is going to add another pound on. This. I've just remembered Steve's alteration to the rules. Steve sort of changes the goalposts as we're going along. Oh, there you go. It's another fish, isn't it? So, come on, baby. Right, that leaves me. That's going to leave me needing a £37 a day. Lovely. Nice to get another one though. We are carp fishing, and he is definitely a carp. I'd say he's one of the new introductions from a couple of years ago. Are you filming my boots? We're arriving. It's not easy to place away. Fish number 2, £22 of little chunky mirror carp. Not 20 minutes, maybe half hour after dropping out half a dozen spoms of complex tea and sweet corn, so it freshened up the area and we got a bite. That's the second bite on the middle rod. The first one at 3 AM fell off. There you go, £22. Happy with that. Steve, I'm going to put a cap on the amount of pounds you're putting on my fish, because pretty soon I'll have to catch one bigger than what is actually in here. So there you go, mate.
What's the cap?
Oh dear. No, now is the cap.
30.
Right, let's get him back and get him in the water. Right. I'm known for being quite impulsive in my angling. Now that's been a polite way of putting it. My mates would call me a pain in the butt. But there's been a few showing now. I don't know, a fair bit shorter than where I am and a fair bit left. So this one, my left rod's done nothing. Later on it's going to become the right rod because the other 2 rods have done it. So for now, I'm going to wrap it a little, probably 2 rod lengths shorter and throw it in that area with, don't go anywhere just yet, one I prepared earlier. It's just like Blue Peter. So I'm going to go and wrap it up now shorter and give it an hour over there. 2, 3, 4, I had no idea. 5, 6. Well, you know what's nice about this? The rain has eventually stopped. Now yesterday, as you'll have seen, it did not stop all day long, so it was very difficult to get a lot of bits and bobs done. The swim I've set up in, I've fished it a couple of times before over the years, I'm not going to lie to you, so I had half an idea, or I had a good idea, where I was going to be putting baits. Got in here, threw the shelter up, as I say, because of the rain, got everything hidden away. Had a couple of casts at the wraps that I'm at, and nothing's changed. It's that deep channel for people that know Sandhurst. It comes across from the far side at about 5.5 down to about 9 foot, depending on the water level, of course, and it's quite high at the moment. So I knew I was going to be fishing. Yesterday, all I'd done then initially was, because I went stalking in the corner for an hour, in a tiny break of the rain, I put out about 20 spoms of what I'm about to show you, and I've done nothing else all day then. Put the rods out in the evening, and in the night I had a bite. Well, a bite in the night actually, which fell off, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, what did I use? Now, so I've gone for my this year's favourite, complex tea, and obviously sweet corn. Every fish likes a bit of sweet. I even got a perch on sweet corn the other week at a different fishery. There you go, everything is sweet corn. Now, the smell off that is lovely. So 20 spoms of that went out there yesterday, and obviously, as I've said, we had a bite in the night. They all like sweet corn. I've been putting this in dry. Now, other venues I go to, I like to add this to the mix because it mushes it down a bit. I don't want that here. It's quite deep. I want the 6mm pellets to hit the lake bed in their hard form, so they're leaking off. Then when they're chewed up by either bream or tench or hopefully carp, you're slicking and you're getting early warnings to get a bite. That's the baiting approach. Now, 3 in the morning, I had a take, and after about a minute, I suppose, it was whizzing off. Steve just walked up and it was gone. So I got all 3 rods in. Those that know me will know how mad I am with my angling and how stringent I can be with it. Now, I started with size 6 hooks, which I've got to say is something I rarely do, but they were on the rig board. Again, a mistake, Ian, because it's cost you what could have been, as we've just said, a lot of big fish in here. So I had all 3 of them in, and I changed all the rigs over, re-wrapped them all. This is 3 o'clock in the morning in the rain, by the way. There's dedication. And I changed them to my favourite size 4s on Ronnie's. Right, on one rod, I've been using, or am using, the pineapple and banana, these fluoro yellows. I've got a lot of fish on them this year. 14 mils, and they just balance down with my favourite. I do bang on about this rig, and it's become a bit one-dimensional, my angling really, but it is so reliable for me. A size 4 now, not a 6, a size 4, razor point, beak point, which is like a wide gape shape, little bit of tubing to kick the Ronnie round, tiny tungsten bead, an 18-pound carp spirit, Optimex for me boom. Now, I might adjust the length of that depending on the lake bed, but where I am dropping in that channel, it's fudding down. So 7 to 8 inches is good enough. That's on one rod. Look how sharp that is. Look. That's on one rod. On the other 2, because I've got a lot of corn in the mix, something bright, they all like corn, I've gone for the same rig, couple of bits, or 1 bit of plastic corn and a little bit of rock hard foam underneath it that's constantly soaked in a sweetener. And that is what's done now. I've got 3 takes now. Excuse me, 3 takes now, 22, 26, and an unknown tuna, probably lake record over 70 pounds. It felt like that when it took off as it fell out. So all joking aside, what I'm doing is working for me at the moment. It's almost midday. I've set myself a midday time to reapply a bit of bait in the swim. I've done 3 spoms or 4 spoms this morning and had a 22 pounder within half an hour really. I've left it be since then because there has been bits of fizzing, but also I'll get to the stage where I'm going to put some more out because I also feel I should have had another take. The rods are still in situ. I'm not going to move them till this evening unless I get a bite. But I am going to stick out probably another half a dozen of them. Spread them across. Now, I haven't got the rods too tight together. They're probably a rod length and a half apart out in the lake, so which is the lines will tell you anyway, is the end of the water. So I can stagger these across that area on the wraps that I'm at. I'm not going to tell you what wraps I'm at, should I? Should I say what wraps I'm at, Steve? Yeah, mate, it's the same spot everyone fishes in here. It's 17 wraps, and it's in the bottom of that channel that, well, a lot of ravine runs across the lake bed out here, right, and it aims right into peg 19 on the end bank. But I'm going to put half a dozen, maybe 10 spoms of that out, same as yesterday, a fair bit of it. Leave the rods in play, finish that little bag of pellet, which I'll have to walk around the van later and get myself another bag, and do the afternoon's fishing. So hopefully sometime this afternoon I'll be holding either Nigel's mirror, pinhead, bubble tail, you know, how many of these big ones. I want to hold them all really this afternoon. So till then, I'm going to leave you to it. I've gone through my bait, I've gone through why I'm fishing this particular peg and where and why, and the rigs I'm using. Now it's time to either have a cup of tea, Stephen, or do me spomming. What do you reckon?
Tea.
He always says tea. Do you know what he has? Oh, there's one just. Oh, I'll hold off on the spomming then. He ain't made one cup of tea. What?
I knew that one was going to show.
You knew that was going to, that's what he said, tea. We'll have a tea break. Time out, tea break. And he ain't made one yet. I'm waiting on it. That is probably rubbish anyway. On that note, I'm going to shut up because I'm waffling and I'm going to put the kettle on. After topping up the spot with some fresh bait, I redid the rods ready for the evening. Right, good evening, second evening, and as you will notice, there's no rain. Isn't that been lovely? Today has been after 10 AM this morning. According to my app, it was going to stop raining, and do you know what? For the first time ever, it stopped raining, and it's been a glorious day. It's been an untidy day in the swim because we've managed to spread everything out and get it all dried from yesterday's monsoon. But it's been a slow day. The fish are up in the water. The rules are, as you all well know, we're not allowed to use zigs, so we couldn't actually fish from today. But there you go. I had two this morning, lost one at 3 AM, like I said earlier. Fell off, made rig adjustments. They're not pterodactyls, aren't they, them herons? Is that all right? Reapplied all rigs, probably 3:30 this morning, 3:45 by the time I got them done, put out a few more bombs, and I've had a 26 and a 22 pound mirror. Nothing since. What I have done this afternoon, we've done lots of bits today. A lot more anglers have turned up. I'm sort of hemmed in a bit now. I've got people chucking it. No, that's not a reflection on the anglers, it's the lake. It's a very skinny lake, and you're very accessible if you catch a few fish. But I've put out a lot more bait this afternoon, hoping to get a few maybe early morning again. I didn't do a great deal yesterday. I had 20 spombs yesterday. I've done probably twice that this afternoon in this deeper area along this channel, should we call it. 3 rods back in it, 2 on plastics, 1 on a pineapple and banana pop-up, which is what incidentally had 2 takes on this morning. So that's out there anyway. That's what I've set. We've done an half-hour Instagram live. You know, I love doing them. The interaction is fantastic. It's some real funny questions, and we can give some real funny answers as well. Keep it clean if you don't mind. So that's the end of today. As I said on the Instagram thing, it's been a long day. It's been a quiet day again. And on that note, I'm going to say goodbye, unless we get one this evening, because I am absolutely Hank Marvin, which to those who are younger than me, which is nearly everybody, means starving. So I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to nip back to the bivvy, put my pasta meal on. So I've had a lovely day. Thank you and good night. I recast this about 20 minutes ago onto some fizzing, and it has roared off. But at the moment, I'm a little bit isn't it? Because as you can see, it's coming in with a massive amount of weed, so I'm not feeling a fish at all, but there is a big old weed bed here. And here we go. There's a lot of weed on that fish. The amount of fizzing in one little area. We were sitting having tea, me and young Stephen, and it was like, it's got to be worth a random single, which is all it's had. Is a random single. Oh. Keep coming, darling. Keep coming. I'm hoping in amongst that load of green stuff, there's a carp. Tell me there's some fish in there. Yep. Now that one, I'm going to call him about the same as yesterday's, low 20, 22, 23 pounds. Oops, a bit lower. Now that one we'd angled for, lots and lots of fizzing. To be fair, I thought there was bits of weed on the surface to the left. Steve said, I'm pretty sure that's fizzing, so I skipped one in, plopped it in the middle of what I thought was weed, but it was fizzing. And 20 minutes later, we've got this one. Oh, oblique one. I've got 2 rods in the fizzing now. But there you go, nice 22 pounder, doing what I love, fishing, not waiting. But inevitably, sometimes you have to wait. There you go, mate. Good morning, and we slept well. Myself and the cameraman, obviously separately, but nothing happened in the night. I'm not pretty sure no one had anything the night, although it felt really good going into darkness. The lake sort of died really. I did mention yesterday evening, I think the bulk of them had shifted on that breeze in the centre part of the lake, but no excuses, nothing happened for us. We've had a great trip in all fairness. If I include Steve's bites in this as well, we've had 9 chances between us. Now when we pulled in that car park opposite, if someone had said you're going to get 9 bites between you, we'd have took that anyway. So it's been a great trip, really love the lake. Brought back some nice memories fishing here with my mates from years ago, but unfortunately I didn't do the 35 pound. Steve, you know you said 35 pound, was that accumulatively on what I catch or one separate fish? Because if I change that like you've been trying to do the whole time, then I've actually achieved it.
No, one big carp.
Right, okay, I failed in the last episode of Carp Pursuit. All joking aside, we've loved doing this series, spinning the wheel. It's been great fun, variety of different venues. I've achieved on some and failed on a couple, but it's been great fun. Thank you very much if you've watched every episode, and you had better have done that because it has been fun. And we've got some really exciting projects due for 2023. So once you've watched this one, keep your eye out for them in the new year and keep watching. Thank you very much from me, Stephen, Carp Spirit and Dynamite Baits.